Welcome back to Daytime Ottawa here on Rogers TV. We talked a lot about staycation, right, over the last, 2 years, let's be honest. And a wonderful spot to enjoy a staycation is the Hyatt Ottawa West. Just really a leader when it comes to the environment and the impact that they're not having on the environment. Here to tell us more about it, I'm joined by Alison Hunter. She's the general manager of Hyatt Place Ottawa West. Welcome to the show, Alison. Great to have you here. And let's start off talking about, what makes this hotel so unique on that environmental side of things and sustainable side of things.
Thank you so much for having us on the show, Derek. The Hyatt Place Ottawa West, although it has a large global brand, we are very proud to be locally owned with a keen focus on giving back to the community and being sustainable. Some of the major things that we do in order to do that, we have 225 solar panels on the roof. We have what is called geothermal earth energy that is used to heat and cool the building. We have water refill station in our building. We don't sell any products in our market with single-use plastic. We have motion sensor lighting in the hallways. We also have beautiful bees on the roof giving back. We all need the bees in order to eat.
Yeah.
So we're just really proud. And of course, the way of the future with gas prices these days is electric vehicles. So we have EV charging stations as well on site.
Yeah, certainly ahead of the curve when it comes to, all of those things you talked about. And the hospitality industry, Alison, as we know, we often talk about the restaurant industry, the hotel industry as well hit very hard, the travel industry hit very hard. And a lot of industries having labor shortages. What was the staffing situation like for yourselves? Because you're not even a year old yet.
Yes, it was very challenging, most definitely at the beginning. We didn't have, when things started to open up, we didn't have seasoned hotel people that had been with us for 20 years because we hadn't been around.
Right.
But the Hyatt Place model is very unique. When you come in and you're greeted at what you would typically think of as a front desk, we don't have a front desk associate. We have a host. And the idea is you're coming to our place and we are your host. So that person that would typically check you in is also certified to offer beverages of any sort, alcoholic or non. They are also trained for food handling. So if you're hungry and you're looking for a glass of wine, your host is going to take care of all of that through the stay. So it really elevates the level of customer service and interaction that you have during your stay.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea for sure. I want to talk a little bit about some of the major changes, Alison. We've seen major changes, as I said, right off the top there in your industry, in the travel industry. What are some of the biggest changes in the hospitality industry?
I think one that is definitely taking a little bit and for customers to get notice when they come back to a hotel is the way we are entering your room during your stay. Every major brand is doing it slightly differently, but if you've stayed at a hotel pre-COVID, you might be used to having someone come into your room on a daily basis if you so required. COVID sort of said, okay, we want to respect your private space. We're not going to come in at all. And then it's been a slow evolution into what may become the new normal. As I mentioned, every brand is doing things a little bit differently, but it's noticed that it's a lot better ecologically to not be, changing your sheets as often and offering service during your stay quite as frequently. So I think that's a major change that a lot of hotel companies, including ourselves, are still working through. What's the right fit for the customer? Of course, we can always get you anything you need during your stay.
Right.
But I'm not sure about you, Derek, but do you change your sheets at home every day?
No, certainly not. And actually, I've even seen hotels have incentives, right, with a point system that if you don't have somebody come in every 3 days and that kind of thing, maybe you get a coffee down at the at the cafe and or the bar sort of thing. I want to talk about Google reviews. A lot of people using it. You and I talked briefly off camera about it and how carefully, but you're an insider. How should people look at Google reviews when it comes to, booking a hotel?
I think it's no different, Derek, than any other industry, and maybe with a grain of salt. Just like anything else, if you're shopping for a house or a car, there's always going to be opinions on every range of the spectrum. So I would say sticking with the majority if there's alarm bells about a facility telling you something on all the reviews, obviously there's likely a very strong likelihood that there's some depth there. But if it's just the one-offs at one end of the spectrum of the other, then, it could have been an off day for the facility, or it could have been an off day for the guests.
Yeah, and I've seen that so many times. And if you keep going, one thing I always encourage people, don't read the first 3 and then make an opinion on that. If there's 150 reviews or 1,000 reviews, scroll through and just see. It's so important, right? You can't just go, as you said, it's a very individual thing sometimes for people. Alison, thanks so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it. I want to remind everybody, too, that we talked about this with Ottawa Tourism, that staycation tax credit. So if you're looking for a staycation, here's a great spot to go. We'll be back with more right after this.